months, then you probably know by now that the hottest piece of new tech on the market is Claude Code, right? Everybody's talking about it. There's a bunch of tutorials out there. Independent background agents does everything for you, right? But I haven't found anyone that's presenting this with high confidence explaining for to total noobs how do you actually get it installed on your Windows machine, right? Because there's one thing about Cloud Code that's not being mentioned here, but is very important, right? Because not all of us love Mac, not all of us are on Mac, not all of us are developers, right? I'm personally not any of that. I'm not a Mac user. I've always been on Windows. I'm not a coder. I have no idea what I'm doing, right? So in that sense, I've brute forced and went in head first and tried to do this the old fashioned way and obviously failed a million times, but now I have a video for you that will hopefully save you a lot of trouble, right? So if you're anything like me, you would go to Claude Code and you'll be like, okay, let me try and do this. I'll just take this link right here. I'll go into my cursor. I'll open it up and I'll just run this npm installation command. And then it will be like, da da da, whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the problem is. I've seen people type Claude, let me try and launch it. Nothing happens, right? So instead of giving up, the first next step to do is go on Google, right? Now I'm teaching you the basics, right? First thing you got to understand is that Claude Code doesn't run on Windows natively, but it runs on Windows with something that is called the WSL, right? So what WSL is basically a Linux environment or Windows subsystem for Linux. Basically, this allows you to run Linux on Windows because again, Claude Code for whatever reason is unavailable on Windows machines. It works perfectly on Ubuntu and Mac, right? So to be able to enable it, the first thing that you have to do, and I've outlined this step by step, so we're gonna go through the wireframes, but the first step is to install this WSL or this subsystem, right? So again, if you tried installing it and ran into a wall of errors, I have built this 10-step system that should work, and let's see it working live right now. If it doesn't work out, great. I'll show you how I debug things as well. So again, first step, Anthropic, Claude Code. You've kind of seen that you can't do anything there, right? And then go to command prompt and run it as admin, right? So again, you click on your search or whatever, find your command prompt, run as admin, right? That allows you to have administrator privileges. And then from here, type this command, right? So you can copy it from my wireframes. I'll leave you these links. Again, what that does is installs Ubuntu, downloads it and installs it onto your machine, right? And this process takes about 10 or so minutes on its own. And then when that time's up, and everything is installed, all you have to do is take this command and then paste it. By the way, a trick that I just learned today is that instead of using Control C, Control V, you can use Control C to copy stuff when you're in terminal environment, but then press the right button on your mouse to paste it. So instead of doing Control V, which sometimes doesn't work, right? This time it did, but it doesn't work on Ubuntu, I think. You just press the right mouse click and that allows you to paste, right? I didn't know that. Again, not a developer. I'm not seeing anybody giving these instructions for people like us, people like you and me that are non-coders and non-technical. And this part is the most crucial piece for me because I was not aware of this part either, right? There are no instructions that I should press enter at this stage, but that's explained in step 6, right? Make sure when you're creating your account that you press enter, right? So this is the name of my account. When I press enter, that actually creates the account username. Doesn't say that I should do it, but you gotta do it in order for it to work. Another big deal, you will not see the password typed out. It asks you for password, and I'm going to give it one. And then I press enter, and it says retype, and then press enter again. And that's the way to get it installed. So again, I would have never, ever knew this, right? The way to know that you've been successful is if you see this path change from C Windows System 32 to something like this, right? But there's a problem here still, right? What I like to do, obviously, is you can confirm the installation here. You just take this and then run it again and again. See, like I made a mistake. I tried to do the Control V, right click with a mouse, right, and it says that you're in Windows subsystem, Linux distributions. The next step that I do is very important, and that is CD space and then shift, and then there's a little kind of icon. I don't even know how to explain this. Right next to your number 1 on your keyboard, just press shift and you will be able to do this, and that brings you back to the main directory. The thing you want to make sure that you're doing is you're getting yourself out of the Windows system. You want to be in Ubuntu, right? Now, that is if you want to continue to use the terminal, right? You can also do this, what I'm going to show you right now in step 8. So again, what I would do here is let me just get out of this, right? And then what you can do is either use command prompt or just type Ubuntu, because you now have it installed. Again, run it as an administrator, right? And as you can see, it will bring you back in this little space, right? So you don't have to run this anymore. What you can do is you can do this. You can check the uname just again to see where you're at. As you can see, it gave me a Linux name, So like I did get where I wanted to be, right? And then from here, it becomes very simple, right? All you have to do is take all of these commands together and copy them in, right? So right now, I'm not sure whether I can do it properly from here. So I'm going to fix that before I pass this along to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and take this, copy it, and then basically run this as a thing that I can simply run. I'm just going to delete here inside Ubuntu part that it's being written right here, and then try to run this command, because what this does is just installs everything that I need in order to be able to run it. It will ask you for that password that we created earlier, and then the process just initializes on its own and it just does its thing, right? I haven't seen these tutorials. I haven't typed them really, but like again, whenever I go and see something, obviously, I try to figure it out on my own so that I can record videos like these. So if you want to follow me, if you want more like videos like these, I'll take this opportunity to tell you to subscribe and like and share and all that good stuff. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. I hope that I helped you in any way whatsoever. Let's see this process get to its completion together, because I really want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Again, it's installing the node, it's installing everything that it needs to have in order for it to run, right? People on Mac and people on Linux, they don't have this problem. They just go into Claude, install it right there, and everything runs on its own, right? Right now, we got everything installed, right? It seems like that the process is over. The very last step before we get done is verifying that these nodes were added correctly. And the way to do that is when you run this which node, which npm, you should see these nodes written as they are on my side, right? And I've included those examples, right? When you type these, should give you these paths. And then from there, you're pretty much done. You can go and basically now do what Claude wanted you to do from the get-go, which is this. You just copy it here, paste it in here, right mouse click, right? And then allow it to install Claude Code on your side, right? So that's how you can install Claude Code on your Windows machine. But the whole premise of the video was, how do you bring Claude Code into Cursor, right? So to do that, because that's how we started the video, you would just go to the terminal. This is the old one. You just start a new terminal. And then from there, first step is, let's run Ubuntu, right? So that's the first step. But you take a couple of steps back, actually. So I'm just going to move this to a new window just for a second, right? And then I am going to go to my step-by-step guide. So the first step is I want to run this command to get Ubuntu launched. So I'll go back to Cursor, right? And I'm going to run a command to run Ubuntu, and I'm in Ubuntu. Remember what I told you earlier. Now, we are in this directory, but we don't want to be in that directory necessarily when we run these commands. So Claude Code obviously can be installed here directly as well, but what I like to do is I like to or actually, let's see what happens if we stay in this directory, right? You can go back again with CD and this command to the main one, but let's try and actually install it inside here if possible. So from here, now that we're in Ubuntu, all that I want to do is basically run this npm installation command, right? So I'm going to go back here, and I am going to install Claude Code on a project level. And then all I got to do is type Claude, and that should open Claude Code for me. Very simple, very nice. Then from there, use your keyboard, right? You can either go up and down, right? So that you can see dark mode, light mode, so I like to use this option. You press enter. I have Claude account with subscription. They have different subscription tiers. It's going to open your browser to sign in. So again, you can just follow the link, right? And then open it up. Authorize, right? You're going to get an authorization code. And then from here, when you say authorize, you're going to get this code. You copy the code. You go back. You paste the code back in, and that should give you the connection. Login successful. Press enter to continue. Press enter to continue once again. Do you trust this folder? Yes, I do. And then from here, you can start talking to Claude Code in your project, right? This was simple now that I'm showing you guys for the first time, but trust me, when I was working on it for the first time myself, it was very, very, very complicated. So I'm going to make sure that this is prepared for your use so that you can have all the 10 steps properly outlined. And I hope to see you build something great. Until then, keep shipping.